Heavyweight champion of the world, Jersey Joe Walcott, who he has spent a lot of time with talking about boxing, and he's hoping to follow in the footsteps of his famous uncle and move into the pro ranks. Johnson defeated Felix Cora in the semifinals to get here tonight.
And he will be facing across the ring somebody I'm happy to talk about. At 6'5", Arthur Palac is the tallest boxer in this tournament. Following in his brother's 1995 championship win footsteps, he wants to use his experience to gain another Golden Glove title, one more in the family.
Take a look at the numbers in this fight at 178 pounds. Johnson and Palac. Palac will have the crowd in his corner. He's 2 years younger than Terrance Johnson, and he's 4 inches taller than Terrance Johnson, so a clear reach advantage for Palac. He's just plain a bigger guy. In fact, he's very big for what would be a light heavyweight, 178 pounds.
Palac is trained by his dad. His brother is also a fighter. He and his brother plan to turn professional probably this year. And Palac says he wants to turn professional together with his brother, conceivably on the same card, the same night.
Says of his style, I'm a left-hander in the ring. I have a European style. I'm stand-up boxer type. He says my best punch is the left hand. He is naturally right-handed. Very confusing because he has more power in that right hand than he has in the left.
He hit Johnson with a pretty good right hand there, too. Johnson's going to have trouble getting inside on Palac. And that may be a key for him.
And that's what Johnson has to do. He says he wants to get down and slow and then advance.
Johnson, because he is the nephew of Jersey Joe Walcott, Rich, something of a boxing historian, very much like you.
Well, he loves to watch the tapes of the old fighters, and he would, in fact, sit there and watch some of those tapes with Jersey Joe Walcott, the former champion, who once, by the way, talked him out of quitting when Terrance lost a fight. He said he was really upset when he came over to Jersey Joe. He was crying and everything, and they spent a couple of hours, and he talked him out of quitting.
The former commissioner of boxing in New Jersey, Jersey Joe Walcott.
Just so hard to deal with reach. What's the best way to deal with reach like that? I mean, when it's so overwhelming against you.
Fighting against real tall opponents, I always just forgot about the head and down the body until they folded over. Then you could reach their head. It's like you want to take a step ladder into the ring with you. And look how tall this man is. Arthur Palac, 6'5". You know, he looks a little bit like an NBA player, Barry or Ricky Smith. Is that right?
A little bit like him, yeah. Maybe not quite as graceful.
And he needs about 2 more feet on him.
Yeah, that's right. You have to stop and think this guy's a 2-guard in basketball.
Sticking in a jab, okay? Sticking in a jab. Arthur, jab, 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 and boom. Okay?
That is his father, Ted Palac.
Sticking in a jab.
Palac, a very personable guy, comes from a boxing family, and when we talked to him about his heroes, we got what we consider to be something of an unexpected answer.
Only idols I have in boxing are my father and my brother, because they got me started with boxing. Since I was a little kid, I always came up to the gym with my brother and my father. They were basically my babysitters. Boxing was my babysitter. I didn't like babysitters, really. So those are 2 people that I always, idolized in boxing, and I always wanted to be like my bigger brother, and I'm still trying to do that.
Brother David Palac was the 1995 Golden Gloves champion.
Actually, that's terrific. I think he's been listening to Charles Barkley. You know, it's his father. That's great to hear. Really great to hear. Real nice father. Ted Palac, he never boxed, but certainly has been there to support his sons in the boxing game. David Palac, his brother's 4 years his senior.
It's a slip.
Terrance wanted to unload one, but in a sportsmanlike manner refrained from unloading a punch.
No towel.
His dad never boxed professionally, is what I think Sean was saying there, but as an amateur in Poland he boxed, but he had this dream for his sons to be professional boxers, amateurs, professionals, and they're living out their dream right now.
Palac being very effective here and just not allowing Johnson, as you see from the numbers, any chance at all.
Oh, push. That's where he's so good. You know, he can reach across the ring and smack you. Johnson can't find him. Oh, there's a good right hand from Johnson, but circling away from his Palac. And experience really coming into play with Arthur Palac. Says he wants to be a world professional champion sometime. Dreams are finishing school, have fun all the time. He goes to Wayne State University, studying in financial investments. And I know he'd like to have gold as part of his investment portfolio.
Pretty good shot by Johnson. Actually got Palac going backward for a moment.
Palac is hurt.
Palac has a very effective style for amateur ranks, but you think about the professionals, and it may not be that effective as a professional.
Johnson not cutting the ring on him. He's just kind of following him around.
Those are effective punches from Palac. They are landing. They're not that hard, but look at this. They're landing. They're building up points. Backing him up. Terrance Johnson needs to get busy. Start throwing those punches at the body.
That was good work there from Palac.
Yeah, very effective for Palac. We're coming back. Palac and Johnson just unable to do any business against the awkward but effective style of Palac.
Yeah, it takes a good fighter to beat somebody like Palac. He is so unusual in the ring. He's tall, he's lanky, he's hard to hit.
Boy, his legs are carrying him a long way around that ring.
A long way in a short time. Good hook. You're right, Rich. Palac has all those traits that make you a very good amateur.
Johnson's just not busy enough. Being out-punched, being out-worked, being out-hit. Looking like a fighter who was beat.
Palac nearly made the Olympic team for the United States that will compete in Australia. He lost in the box office, the final box office, to Jeff Lacey. He thought he had won the fight and thought he had the decision, but instead it was awarded to Lacey. Many people felt it was a bad decision. And Palac, if you talk to him, has a lot of, well, you know, to be honest about it, some nice things to say about amateur boxing, which he says is more political than professional boxing.
Yeah, he said it's not about who's best, it's about who's favorite. It's about who's going to make money down the road. That's his exact quote.
Yeah, I'm really upset about that. He is an intelligent young man, web page designer. He works on computers, loves old cars.
And he has been pretty much dominant in this fight thus far.
Terrance Johnson, who goes back, I think, discouraged to his corner, he's really having trouble figuring out what to do that will be successful.
You're not flying, let him go. You got to let him go, baby. You got to let it go. Come on, come on. Choice now. You got to let it go, man. Let them hands fly, man. Let them fly. Let them fly. All right, come on. Come on, baby. Come on, let us fly. You can drop this motherfucker, man. You hit him, you can drop him. All right, take a deep. Hey, you got to believe this, man. You got to believe it. Come on, we ain't got nothing to lose now. All right, come on, let's go get it.
Don't let him have the ball. He's going to be running at you. Not on the board.
Terrance Johnson in his corner was getting a talking to, much like David Reed got from Al Mitchell in the Olympic Games when he trailed Albert Dubourgal badly going into the third round. And Al was telling him, you got to go out and get it. You can still do it. Land the big right, but you got to let your hands go. That's pretty much what they were telling Terrance Johnson in his corner.
Only I'm not sure Terrance Johnson was buying it. He is just unable to get inside the jab of Palac. Now he's holding.
Yeah, a little frustration setting in. No holding and hitting.
Barry Tompkins, Rich Barada, Sean O'Grady, ringside at Joe Louis Arena. These are the Golden Gloves Championships. Palac pounding Johnson.
Now I think what's happening here, Barry, is the accumulation of punches finally beginning to build up on Terrance Johnson. And if Palac scores knockouts, this is how it's going to be, although the word knockout actually isn't used in amateur boxing, but as stoppages of foes, this is what happens. You just eat so many punches from Palac when you fight against him.
Yeah, and I think this crowd wants a stoppage in this one. They want for Palac to really put the pressure on so this fight is stopped.
Absolutely dominant in this fight right from the opening bell, just not allowing Johnson in the fight at all.
Detroit's own Arthur Palac
just peppering Johnson.
What was that? You know, he wobbles a little bit.
I think he slipped on a painted portion there. That happened once before also in this fight.
Good little right hand from Johnson inside. Found an opening on Palac, who momentarily became a little reckless with his defense.
A left hand by Johnson also.
His legs are so long and his feet sometimes get tangled up. Watch how Palac, when he moves to his right, he crosses his feet. Watch him here. If he goes back to his right, there it is, right there. And when you go back, when you cross your feet, you get hit, you're going to stumble a bit. Right there again. You move to the right first, you're supposed to move your right foot first. Move the left foot first.
And another good quick left hand by Palac, and then a bolo punch.
That's it. Palac spent this fight sharpshooting his opponent and very successful at it.
Yeah, did a very good job. And this one I don't really think is in doubt very much. I think the hometown guy did the job. And this one a little lopsided, I think, Rich.
Yes, Arthur Palac fought as a tall fighter tonight. He fought tall. You saw it in the very first round, setting the style and the tempo of this fight. Even when he got off balance, Terrance Johnson trying to come in and make him pay for punches when he lost his balance, but it did not happen. And in the fourth round, it was more Palac who really was peppering Terrance Johnson by this point, and Johnson was running out of steam, and Palac, I thought, was dominant in this fight.
Well, he fought tall, and now he stands tall. Here is Thomas Schreiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2000 Golden Gloves national champion for the 178-pound division is out of the blue corner, representing Detroit franchise, Arthur Palac.
Impressive win, I think, for Arthur Palac, and there is Dad, longtime member of the Polish national team, and right now, son is with Sean O'Grady.
Thanks, Barry. Arthur Palac, why is this championship sweeter the second time round? You won it last year.
Because I'm coming from a real disappointing loss in the box office, and this is in my hometown. I want to give my, fans here in Detroit something I haven't given them in a long time, and that's a championship, especially in front of my home crowd.
Yeah, I know the hometown crowd really loves you, too.
Yeah.
Arthur Palac gets the victory. He gets the championship in front of his hometown crowd. 178 pounds, guys.
Second championship in a row for Arthur Palac. He came up in weight this time to 178, and he left no doubt a convincing victory over Terrance Johnson. When we come back, we'll move up in weight class, and this one between Rydell